Are the San Diego Padres now World Series contenders? What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Bad for Baseball, the baddest baseball podcast on the internet. I'm Adam Peddle, joined alongside by Nicholas Paleolog. They had an absolute insane trade deadline. They made moves that we did not expect. They go out and they go get Mason Miller, the most unexpected blockbuster of the deadline. Then they go at some two big bats from Baltimore and more pitching depth. We're going to break down every single trade, give our opinion, and answer the question, does this make the Padres World Series contenders? Before we get into it, make sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. Man, AJ Preller, that dude's got some big cojones.
Yeah, he doesn't care, man. He sees prospects, and really, it's just trade chips for him, right? Yeah. Like, it is not about development in San Diego. Saw a wild tweet yesterday about all the guys that he's traded away in his tenure. It was effectively an all-star team, which is always the scary thing when you trade away prospects. But when you trade away as many as AJ Preller does, it's bound to happen because he just fires those bullets. And yesterday, he emptied the clip. Mason Miller was the big one. I mean, another blockbuster with Baltimore, which we will get to. But looking over at the Mason Miller trade right there from Jeff Passan, this was arguably the biggest trade at the deadline.
I would agree, like the most shocking one, especially when you're considering what they got back in return. Shout out to the GOAT, Jeff Passan, for breaking it. What they got back, man, is just ludicrous. You're looking at the number 3 overall prospect in baseball, Leo De Vries. I hope I'm saying that right. And then also, that's just number 1. Also, they get right-handed pitcher Brendan Nett, the Padres number 3, which I believe was also another top 100. Then they get right-handed pitcher Henry Baez, number 13 in their system, and then they get Nunez, number 17. That's a massive haul. And I mean, Mason Miller is amazing. You got lots of control over the guy. He's one of the best pitchers in terms of stuff in all of baseball. Can easily touch 101, 102, 103. It doesn't matter. You want to go get that guy with lots of control, that's going to be costing that price tag. Do you think that's worth the price tag, in your opinion?
It's wild, man, because giving up the number 3 overall prospect in all of baseball, like, that's scary to me. That guy could easily become a stud.
Could be an all-star guy.
Could be an all-star, right? And, you think about Mason Miller, like, for as good as he is still just a bullpen arm. So the amount of impact that he's going to have on your team, it is limited compared to, a shortstop right there who, I mean, if that guy was good defensively and good offensively, like, that guy could be, an MVP candidate for you.
Right.
I guess looking at the Padres, though, you got to think about it from a team building standpoint. Well, we already have a Xander Bogaerts locked down for literally ever, and now
even though he's not the same, but
some Padre fans may be a little upset about that, and I understand it. He's not the same guy that won a World Series over there in Boston years ago, but still, you paid him a crap load of money, and you're going to have him for effectively the next decade of time. So where is that 3rd overall prospect gonna slot in? Mason Miller, though, I mean, you could easily find space for that guy and turn what is already your biggest strength into just a juggernaut of a strength.
That's what it is. Like, and that's why I think I'm most shocked about this trade. They already had the number 1 bullpen in all of baseball. First in ERA, first in WHIP, first in hits per 9, 3rd in home runs per 9. It's an absolute juggernaut. And then you add them to a bullpen where you ever got your locked-in closer, Robert Suarez. It'll be interesting to see what they do there. Like Mason Miller, does he command the job now? Is Suarez out of a job? Is it a committee kind of thing? But they said, you know what? Yeah, let's double down on that strength and make it the most dominant one in baseball. We saw what the Dodgers did to us last year. We're going to do what they did to us, which is have an elite bullpen, have enough starting pitching, and get over the top. And you also had in that trade J.P. Sears come the other way. There was talks of Dylan Cease being traded and whatnot. Inevitably, they did not trade him, which I think was a smart move.
Well, there was talks of Dylan Cease moving, and then also talks of Robert Suarez moving.
Right.
And San Diego really silenced everybody, and they just went full-on buy mode. Looking at that offense, that was something that definitely needed some actual help right there. Like, the bullpen didn't need any help at all, and they went nuts anyways. But the offense did. And honestly, I would say it's close between them and Seattle, but just from a impact on the offense made at the trade deadline, you could argue that San Diego had that biggest impact. They added Laureano and they added Ryan O'Hearn,
Huge.
getting the two biggest bats over there in Baltimore that were on the trade market anyways. Both of them have OPSs over 800. Laureano's almost at 900, and his situation's so good for the Padres as well because he's got a club option of $6.5 million next year that will assuredly be picked up. There's no question about it. That is going to be selected. So it's Laureano for not only this season, but an extremely cheap year next year as well.
Yeah, and they gave up again a hefty price to get both of those guys. O'Hearn is just a rental piece too. Considering this, they got the number 6 prospect, a number 8 prospect, number 16, and then some other guys kind of tossed into the mix. Which is again, that's a decent price tag. And you look at them in that lineup, and you're starting to think, holy shit, this offense could be a lot better than the 24th ranked overall run scoring offense in baseball with Fernando Tatis, Luis Arias, Manny Machado, Jackson Merrill. Xander Bogaerts, I know, isn't the same kind of player, but then you add in Ryan O'Hearn and Laureano, like you're saying. Look at that. 800 OPSs. They only had 2 guys with over an 800 OPS. They just doubled that with both of those trades. So
it's a lot thicker, man. Like
it's absolutely a lot thicker.
It's just
hard to go through.
Exactly right. There's not really going to be an easy inning here, and obviously you would like a little bit more production from Xander Bogaerts, and Jackson Merrill's not having the season that you'd like. So those guys got to step it up. But should they step it up? Now you're looking at a squad where like 1 through 8 basically. It's like this is tough.
It is tough. And look, like you got to get enough runs in the game, and then you're going to have that bullpen shut it down. But the big question is, can they get that starting pitchers to give them some help? Because they've been kind of lackluster this season. You look at their ERAs. I mean, the best one is Nick Pivetta. What an amazing, unexpected signing and breakout that was. But Darvish isn't the same guy. Randy Vasquez.
Darvish has been injured for a large part of it, so he's only got 23 innings.
Right, but even when he is healthy, he hasn't been the same.
He hasn't been
for the last
great,
couple
yeah.
seasons. And then Randy Vasquez has been solid. Dylan Cease, he's that guy. Same thing when people are like not sure if they want to trade for him. Can he break out in the second half? They go add J.P. Sears and that Mason Miller trade, and they also added as some insurance Nestor Cortez, which I was trying to look up and see when the hell he was coming back. Nobody freaking knows. Somebody in the chat let me know. But again, I look at it as like you're building enough of a depth of a rotation that if you could just give the offense a chance and an opportunity to get you over and get you the win, that bullpen will absolutely come and shut it down. And hell, when it comes time for the playoffs, you could literally play it like the Dodgers and just, 4 innings, 2 times through the lineup of the opponent. Boom, let's bring in the good bullpen.
Let's bring in the bullpen because they have 9 good bullpen arms. So you have that luxury of doing that, whereas other squads that you're going to be up against, they're not going to have that luxury. No. I think I would have liked to see the San Diego Padres, considering they were going so balls to the wall here, like go out and try to get potentially a better starter option than a Nestor Cortez.
They should have went and got Joe Ryan if he became available.
Wow, Jesus. I mean, that would just been pure. Like you're literally emptying out every single guy in your farm system at that point, which they almost effectively did.
They do it all the time when they're buying in.
They do. But I think that this is like they're frustrated. They've been getting walked over by the Dodgers for a long period of time, and like they're always in the Dodgers' shadow, and they're still a very, very good team, right? We just forget about them because, you have LA being so incredible over there, and even in not this year, but in seasons prior to, it's like Arizona's taken a bit of that away as well. So San Diego has made it abundantly clear they want to win the World Series this year. They've won the last 5 games in a row. They get a run differential of plus 32. They are in a wild card spot, albeit at the last wild card spot there. They're a couple games back from the Dodgers, and they got 3.5 games up on the Cincinnati Reds. Where are you at right now with the San Diego Padres squad in terms of the entire NL after seeing what they did at the deadline?
Yeah, I'm looking at the rest of the NL, and a lot of teams didn't make a whole lot of moves. The Brewers, I mean, they didn't really do anything. But
they never do anything.
So there you go. That's the thing. They never will do anything, and that's always their problem. Dodgers really didn't do a hell of a whole lot. They traded like their outfielder away for another guy. And it was lackluster. Mets did have a pretty good deadline. Phillies had a very great deadline picking up Johan Duran. That's their biggest competition right now. Cubs, again, didn't do a whole lot.
Cubs were quiet.
They were quiet.
Yeah, and that's the one out of it's like, okay, Milwaukee, we know that you guys don't do stuff. I get it. You're Milwaukee. You'll just be good anyways. Dodgers, your team's so stacked regardless, so it's fine. But for me, the Cubs, I was actually like, that's disappointing or surprising to me, because like you haven't been this good in a long period of time. Why aren't you going out and making more money? I know that Cubs fans too online have been feeling that as well.
Yeah, and I look at the rest of the NL, and it's like Giants were basically sellers, kind of like partial sellers, like retoolers. Obviously, Reds were buying, but they were a very conservative buy. So for me, for the Padres, I'm not too worried about them losing their spot. It's all about how they can perform in the postseason. If they could maybe hit a few more home runs, because they're really lackluster, that's a big worry for me. Is Laureano and is O'Hearn enough to get them over the edge? They didn't have great home run numbers when they were in Baltimore, like surging home run numbers. They were decent, but not great. But they're going to really have to get something going with that offense. You need Merrill to break out. You're going to need guys like Louis Arias to still continue to do well. Bogarts, anything from him. If you don't get that, you don't have any runs to score, so it doesn't matter how good that bullpen is.
I'll put it this way. When I look at the National League right now, I genuinely think that any one of those 6 teams in the playoffs right now could win the World Series.
Yeah, and Dodgers aren't the Dodgers this year in terms of dominance.
Sure, and I think all of those 6 teams have something there where it's like, okay, I can buy into that, I can believe in that. Whereas like most of the time when you make it in the playoffs, it's like, okay, there's like 2 overwhelming favorites, or one overwhelming favorite, and then 1 or 2 that you could see, and then a couple of like stragglers that just made it in. That's not the case. I think that those are 6 very solid teams. I think that San Diego affirmed their spot by doing this at the trade deadline, going and getting that offense, and just further doubling down into that bullpen. So I think that, I don't want to say that they're the favorite or anything like that, but I think that they got as good a shot as any of these people to make it to the World Series.
That's the thing. This year, man, it's awesome baseball. But like, fuck, how many times in the last month have we seen the lead change for like the number 1 team in all of baseball? Like, it's been constantly changing. Like, even looking over the NL, the leaders over there have 64 wins. So like it's anybody's game this year, which is always good for baseball, not bad for baseball. It's always good for baseball.
But folks, let us know your thoughts about all this in the comments down below. Do you think that the San Diego Padres were the biggest winners at this trade deadline? And also, we didn't bring it up, but who's the biggest loser at this trade deadline?
Let us know in the chat down below. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. We'll catch you next time.
Cheers.